All right, so here we go. The moment a lot of us have been waiting for. Ubisoft has officially revealed that yes, they are officially working on a Splinter Cell Remake game out of Ubisoft Toronto. This is a very big deal also because of the engine they are using for this one. Guess what? They're using the Snowdrop engine for the new Splinter Cell Remake. And it's the same engine that is, of course, going to be powering Avatar and the brand new open world Star Wars game from Ubisoft. And yes, Snowdrop did power The Division. So this is one sleek looking engine for sure. I cannot wait to see how this translates into the world of Splinter Cell. So I am super hyped for that. So we have the official announcement today, some brand new details as to what to expect from the Splinter Cell Remake. And then also we're going to debunk some rumors and leaks and that sort of thing, because there's a rumor floating around that this will be open world. So we're going to talk about that one because it is confirmed by Ubisoft this is not going to be open world. I don't think everything has to be open world. One of my favorite franchises, in fact, is Uncharted. So let's get into the official announcements right now. So it says this: Ubisoft has greenlit the development of a Splinter Cell remake that will draw from the rich canvas of the brand. Led by Ubisoft Toronto, the game will be rebuilt from the ground up using Ubisoft's own Snowdrop engine. Hell yes. Now, this is the same engine being used to, of course, to develop Avatar and the Star Wars game. And it's to deliver new generation visuals and gameplay and the dynamic lighting and shadows the series is known for. And that bit gets me excited because throughout this whole Q&A with Ubisoft Toronto, they really dive into the fact that they want to respect Splinter Cell and bring back a really powerful lighting engine, which Splinter Cell has been known for with dynamic shadows and that sort of thing. But anyway, we have this rumor right here from Tom Henderson, who says Ubisoft's Splinter Cell game that is in early development is currently scoped as, you guessed it, open world of sorts, a more stealthy version of Assassin's Creed, similar to how Halo Infinite has done its open world. So we're going to get into the official stuff from Ubisoft. They're about to debunk this leak and rumor. Let's talk about official stuff. Now, here's the question. It says, how are you approaching Splinter Cell as a remake? What makes it a remake and not a remaster? That's a great question. The Ubisoft Toronto team responds, comes from creative director and the producers. It says this right here: to me, a remake takes what you do in a remaster and goes a little bit further with it. The original Splinter Cell has a lot that was amazing and revolutionary at the time it came out 19 years ago. The gaming public now has an even more refined palette, so I think it's kind of has to be a remake as opposed to a remaster. I want to stop right there. It makes me think of the GTA trilogy. Yes, you have to go way further with your effort with these type of remakes slash remasters, no matter what. That is clear with what happened with the GTA trilogy remaster. Now let's keep going, shall we? It says, although we're still in the very early stages of development, what we're trying to do is make sure the spirit of the early games remains intact in all the ways that gave early Splinter Cell its identity. So as we're building it from the ground up, we're going to update it visually as well as some of the design elements to match player comfort and expectations. And we are going to keep it linear like the original games, not make it open world. It says, how do we make sure that new fans are able to pick up the controller and dive right in and fall in love with the game and the world right from the get-go? So immediately they debunked the rumor right there that this was going to be open world. Officially, it is not going to be that way. Once again, you know, not every game has to be open world. In fact, sometimes turning franchises into open worlds actually diminishes the quality of certain games. I even know that. But let's get into what Ubisoft further has to say. Peter says this: from a tech perspective, if I had to boil it down to a couple of words in terms of the difference, what we're doing is exploration and innovation here. We've got a new engine and a new console life cycle to take advantage of, so the tech is one area that we don't want stuck in the past. So, you know, I'm assuming, I'm reading between the lines there, this is going to be an experience that's going to be only on like PS5, Xbox Series SX, and PC. We're not going to see this attached to old gen technology, which I say, hell yes, it's about time. Now, we have this one. It says, the phrase stealth action redefined from the original game has actually proven to be a really valuable North Star for us. We're able to, for example, apply that what Peter was just saying as far as being able to prototype and innovate and test some stuff out. That is very much in keeping with us redefining what stealth action is going to feel like for a modern audience. All right. Sweet. So they're going to be doing some updates with the stealth tactics, it seems. Now we have this question here. It says, what aspects do you think are most important to update? What is the core of this experience that needs to be preserved? So a lot of balancing and stuff going into the development of this game between new and old. Now we have Chris Audi who says this: Splinter Cell was a breakthrough in stealth. As Matt mentioned, it was stealth redefined with a huge focus on getting that core gameplay right above all and delivering an ideal being a ghost. It's important for us to preserve the sense of mastery by supporting players who observe the situations, make their plan, use their gadgets, and outsmart the enemy creatively to deal with the challenges they are presented with. Ideally, they end up coming out on the other side with no one having realized you were even there. That's the essence of a Splinter Cell. The essence of a ghost. At least that's what I say. And then we have here, they go on to say this: one of the things that from my point of view is really exciting about this project is that the last couple of games all of us have worked on have been really big worlds. What that means is that the economy of decisions is very spread out, whereas what I love about a Splinter Cell map is every square inch represents intentionality. Every square inch is part of a choice, or directly offers a choice, or has direct ramification. That density of gameplay is at the forefront in Splinter Cell, and that's going to be really, really important for us. The gameplay experience we are targeting is directly tied to what we want players to feel, to capture the essence back when we were all playing the original games. And you know what this screams for me? Replayability. It sounds like they're also going for replayability, despite the fact this is not open world. Yes, you can have games that are highly replayable if you design the maps in that way. Now we have this one here. It says, yeah, in preserving what made those early games so compelling, we recognize a huge part of the appeal of Splinter Cell is the flawless planning, execution, and satisfaction you feel when you go in and absolutely ace every encounter. Seeing your mastery put on display at the end of things, especially when you go through with no alarms triggered, that's a big part of the Splinter Cell experience, and we want to be sure we're honing in on that. So yeah, maybe you can go through a map and really, I don't know, stealth sleep everyone. And I'm sure they might have that option, perhaps. We'll see what you can do with that one. But it seems like there's going to be a wide variety of options of not triggering alarms in this game and actually being like a purist. Then we have this one right here. Splinter Cell is being remade in Snowdrop Engine. What does it enable you to do that wouldn't have been possible 19 years ago, and that wouldn't be possible with other engines even now? We have this one. Snowdrop Engine gets me so excited. And then we have this right here. So Snowdrop is a proven modern AAA engine. It empowers content creators and programmers alike to try things quickly, see what works, and ultimately find success. I think that's one of the major advantages, allowing us to quickly find the modern equivalent of that core Splinter gameplay. Some other AAA engines out there do not afford this type of iteration speed necessarily, and so this is really what gives Snowdrop an edge on when bringing Splinter Cell up to speed on modern engines. Interesting. So, you know, they might really be able to develop things very, very quickly with this new engine with Snowdrop, and that makes me curious if they're going to develop this in the same way that the Hitman franchise is developed, where they're constantly kind of like releasing things as they go. I'm curious to see what they do with this one. Now we have this question here. Beyond what we've discussed, what is the most important for readers to take away from this announcement? So here we go. Let's see what they said here. It says this: a lot of time has passed since the original Splinter Cell, and even since the last sequel, enough time to miss an entire console generation. So now we're going to take the time to explore what this means for us, for light and shadow, for animation tech, for gameplay, AI, even audio. We're going to ask ourselves, where does it make sense for us to innovate? What not only fits with the legacy, but brings the game up to a level that will be expected of us, and where can we surprise our players? We want to bring them something new, yet still connect them to that feeling that they had 2 decades ago playing that masterpiece for the first time. Nice. Furthermore, they say this right here. They say, I'll throw this out there. You've got to have a tagline. And one of the things that we're using currently as the tagline from the very beginning is the phrase, respect the goggles. I love that, honestly. They say, I love the goggles as a symbol for Sam. We are making a game that is going to be modern, but built on the foundation of the brand's rich history. The game earned its stripes the right way by being innovative and challenging in a really different experience than what was in the marketplace at the time. Respect the Goggles helps to remind us of that fact that we have to do it justice. They are very serious. They do not want to mess this up, it seems. Furthermore, they say there's stuff that simply needs to be redone from scratch to be up to snuff for a modern gameplay experience. With that, though, what do we need to do to absolutely preserve the feeling of early Splinter Cell? We're going to be straddling the line between the spirit of the old and the comfort of the new so that we can excite and surprise new players, but also make sure that when our returning players pick up the controller, they have that sigh of relief saying, they got it. Yeah, I really hope that's the case. And it's interesting. I wanted to say this really fast because Ubisoft also did a Ubisoft blog style video, and they were like the return of the Splinter Cell franchise. That's what they worded it, and the Splinter Cell games. And it was interesting to me because I think this is just the beginning for Splinter Cell, this remake. To me, it might be that they want to go heavily invested in Splinter Cell in the future and offer us different ways to experience Splinter Cell, starting first with the remake. So I'm curious to see what they do with the franchise as a whole in the future. But I think that this sounds like a good start. It says, it's safe to say that a lot of us on the team are stealth purists, and we're behind that level of seriousness when it comes to those kind of mechanics and those sort of things that we want to see in this game. And we're very, very aware of what makes classic Splinter Cell what it is. We talked earlier about that dense world where every square inch is important because they're all a consequence of a choice or setting the table for the next choice from the player's point of view. So that kind of density, that packed nature that I think was so palpable in the first trilogy is going to be one of our guiding lights as we go forward. With this remake, we are building a solid base for the future of Splinter Cell. So sounds like they want to get it right here and then build out from this perhaps. We'll see what they do, but there it is, everyone. Yes, they are officially working on a brand new Splinter Cell experience, Splinter Cell Remake, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. Let me know, by the way, what is your favorite Splinter Cell game that has been released? I actually liked Conviction and what they did with Blacklist, so we'll see what they do with this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Splinter Cell news. It's good to see that they're respecting this one, or going to attempt to respect it as much as possible. But stay tuned for more Splinter Cell. And yeah, open world gaming goodness. I got you guys covered with Cyberpunk. You guys know that. And anything out of Ubisoft, especially when it comes to the Avatar game, the open world Star Wars game. Totally hyped for that. But thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.